in terms of with our youth, man, it's just meeting the youth where they are, bro. We talked about it on the last pod with Sydney. Like, it's a lot of kids dealing with a lot of stuff, and using this framework to understand, like, we're just human. Like, you have emotions, like I have emotions. You have thoughts and dreams and ambitions, and how can I like remove a label of me being a mentor and just us have a human conversation? And so
Mm.
that's kind of the biggest practice of RJ that I've been using in my everyday life.
I never grew up with educators that look like myself. So for
100.
I feel like honestly, like we are that new wave that make being wise, being smart, being educated cool, right?
Absolutely.
Wisdom is a powerful tool, but oftentimes we might neglect it because of who it's coming from. You feel me? But if we can chop it up with a young buck and really implant a seed, man, like it's more than just education at that point. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Let's Grow Together podcast, where diverse individuals and communities come to serve, connect, and grow in the areas that they're most passionate about. Man, I'm back with another dope episode with my brother Marcus. Check in, let him know how you doing.
What's going on? What's going on, family? As always, pleasure to reconnect with y'all. Some updates. Boy, life been moving so fast. I don't even know what day of the week it is no more, man. The counter ain't up. I don't even be knowing. But coming off of a great weekend, man. We just had our college leadership retreat for Roots, so we were able to do some peace circles. We were able to implement something we created called TT Transparent Talk. We're able to really vocalize some of the nuances we feel amongst ourselves, as well as just some engaging professional development sessions that ended with paintballing. So it was awesome to be able to see our college students be kids again, man. You should have seen them. They look like a kid in a candy shop out there having a ball. But again, it was a beautiful time. Really was present in each and every moment. I'm outside of that prepping for our financial literacy session tomorrow, Scotland County. So again, man, the hustle and bustle don't stop. The interest meeting coming next week. Excited to collaborate with you guys as well. So yeah, man, a lot of good stuff. Oh yeah, and the board meeting was yesterday, right? I forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of moving pieces, man. But
Yeah.
life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. Just got done working with Avery doing some homework. So just trying to juggle and maneuver as always, good brother, man. But all is well. All is well.
Yeah. Man, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all moving and grooving as always, man. Roots. It's almost like the North Carolina arm of a Greater Good Foundation, because y'all doing the same great work. Might be doing a little bit better, but you know what I'm saying? We sharing the love. But man, life is good, man. We just had the fifth annual Restorative Practice Conference. And
Okay.
bro, it was phenomenal. Biggest conference to date, and it just felt good, bro, because we talked about a lot on the podcast. We talked a little bit offline, but a lot of planning behind the scenes, a lot of calling folk, a lot of reaching out, just trying to make this thing special. And man, I can't even say enough. Like, we've more than accomplished that, just from the standpoint of so many different restorative practitioners in one space, talking about how they're implementing restorative practices in their everyday lives, and some in their professions. And it was just so dope. We were there more in like a community supportive kind of standpoint role, but also just volunteering, just adding any value we can. But on the first day, a Greater Good Foundation had the opportunity to speak and just talk about some of the stuff that we're doing with RJ. And bro, it was just so dope because we didn't get a standing ovation, but the crowd received our message very well. Like, to be honest, I think we were the best presenters, bro. We went up there. They were like, man, you guys' energy was just so dope. You guys were so charismatic. Like, y'all really controlled the crowd. And
Mm.
it was also dope, just the opportunity just to network. Um, and one they were like, man, usually when we see restorative practitioners, they're old black men talk about fight the power and all that. They were like, but you guys, young black men, vibrant, like really taking control of the space. And they like, man, we appreciate that. So continue doing the work. And
Mm.
it was just phenomenal, bro.
Man, kudos to y'all as always. I know the energy was different because you all were present. Even like our intro says, man, education is a powerful tool, but oftentimes it's neglected because of who it comes from.
Yeah.
Right? You all speak the culture, you all look the culture. So I know a lot of people were able to retain information that may not have been able to if it didn't come out you all's mouth, man. So again, kudos. Love the work as always, man. I'm excited to get with y'all fellas for
Yeah,
real.
yeah. And then, bro, it's I gotta give a major shout out, man, to our OG Steven Jackson, man, for putting it on. Him and Pam Purdy, they train the original AGGF guys, and that they are really the ones who introduced us to the actual practice, right? Like you hear about peace circles because you know you talked about it with your leadership retreat, but it's like we don't know where that practice originated, and if it wasn't for OG introducing us to the formalities behind it, we wouldn't know. And they introduced me to a new term, bro, and I'm rocking with it. It's
But,
justice impacted people. So basically,
mm,
it's just anybody who's been incarcerated. And they were like, you know, we're changing the stigma because some of those folks were falsely accused and they're locked up, and you know, you people refer to them as convicts, and
mm.
you know that's a negative word. So we reframed it by saying justice impacted people, and I was like, man, that's powerful. That's super powerful. So man, shout out to OG. Got to give him his flowers.
I love it. Just to ask before we pivot, how have you taken the foundation that was originally presented to you all as restorative justice and kind of put you all spin on it to make it more prominent for a lot of the youth in which you service as well?
Man, that's a phenomenal question, and part of our presentation was talking about being restorative outside of the circle, right? Like using these practices in this framework in our everyday lives. And in my section, I kind of talked about how you know me and my girlfriend we have character building sessions, right, where we really just hash it out, have some TT transparent talks, right, and we come to a space where okay, it's okay that we don't agree on whatever situation it is, but I do validate and verify what you said. I hear you. I
Mm,
just may disagree. So that's one of the ways that we're using these practices outside of the circle. But in terms of with our youth, man, it's just meeting the youth where they are, bro. You know, we talked about it on the last pod with Sydney. Like, it's a lot of kids dealing with a lot of stuff, and using this framework to understand, like, we're just human. Like, you have emotions, like I have emotions. You know, you have thoughts and dreams and ambitions, and how can I like remove a label of me being a mentor and just us have a human conversation. And so
mm.
that's kind of the biggest practice of you know RJ that I've been using in my everyday life.
Respect, respect. And I think that's a perfect pivot to introducing our guest. Let's go ahead and bring out our brother Semaj, man.
Yes
What's
sir,
going on,
yes sir.
Semaj?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's
Welcome,
up? Well,
welcome, brother.
welcome to Let's Grow Together, man. So James was talking a little bit about restorative justice and how they were able to put their spin on it to make it prominent and impact local youth. I know you have your business, 26 Athletics, right? And you
Right.
mentor in the midst of working these individuals out, man. I think it's a pretty dope a dope system that you put in place. So I'd love to get a little bit more content for individuals who don't know too much about yourself or 26 Athletics.
Okay. All right. So, I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I named 26 Athletics 26 because, 26 is like a nickname that people from Fayetteville give the city. Um, Let me say, what I really want to do with my company is I want to like give back to, the city, give the city things that we didn't have growing up, which is mentors at a young age, learning how to work out, how to dominate in your games, and, learning how to stay ahead of the game exercise wise. I really stand on, mental toughness because that's what we need as a culture. We really lack mental toughness, and the first sign of uncomfortability, people leave. You know what I'm saying? So I try to get the youth to understand that it's gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? Life's gonna be hard, and us as being black men, we already got a chip on our shoulder. So let's not feed into what the stereotypical black man is looked at as, and what I'm saying, let's change within ourselves so that we can make, what I'm saying, our community better as a whole, make our parents happier and this, that, and the third, because nobody wants to disappoint their parents, you know what I'm saying? So I try to get these kids starting at 5 years old to understand the importance of grinding. You know what I'm saying? To work for what you want and not just walk around with your hand out because nothing's going to be given to you. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to chase your goals. You have to put in the work. You have to sacrifice in order to what I'm saying, gain what you're trying to achieve. So I just try to embed that in these kids and teens and even young adults' heads. So try to get them to be great in all aspects, honestly, from mentally to physically. So
Man, that's real. I think a lot of times when we work with youth, I think part of our challenge is figuring out what motivates the youth, right? Sometimes we refer to that horse and the carrot. You put the carrot in front of the horse moves, right? So how do you go about figuring out what it is that motivates these kids? Because I know a lot of the kids that you work with are athletes. Do you yourself have like an athletic background, and does that kind of help you bridge that gap when working with these youth?
I do. I do. All right. So I play football, play basketball, and I still currently run track. So I use myself as a platform to kind of, motivate these kids. Because it's one thing to tell a kid, like, hey, you need to perform these exercises this type of way. And it's another thing to be able to show the kid. So growing up, I didn't really have a lot of coaches that can go out there and show me what they were trying to teach me.
Yeah,
And these days, the kids, they take to that. You know what I'm saying? So they really like when you can go out there and compete with them. You know what I'm saying? Like they already talk trash, they do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I tell them like, hey, I can't teach what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I
that's
know
real.
for a fact, what I'm trying to teach you. And then, some of them they come at me like, come on, coach, you a little old, you can't do this, you can't do that, and that's when it get competitive. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
bring coaches to it, I gotta show you. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't just talking the talk. I can walk the walk as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what really like when it comes to my business. That's what get the kids to buy in because I can demonstrate, I can perfect, and I can perform everything that I'm trying to get them to understand and do as well. So
Yeah, that's so real, bro. Cause one of the things that we talked about at the RJ conference is modeling the behavior, right? It's one thing for us to tell the kid like, all right, you need to go to class, all right, you need to practice gratitude, you need to do these things, but we're not doing it, right? So I
right,
think, man, in anything, man, with anybody, it's like showing them that you not only like are here to educate them, but you also doing it yourself. But man, I used to hate them coaches that's like, man, do this, do that. But I'm like, man, get your ass out here and do it. You know what I'm saying? And Muggs couldn't do it, bro. Muggs couldn't do it. And I think when you can back it up, bro, it shows the kids like, all right, he's not somebody to be played with, but two, he actually know a little bit about something that I'm trying to do, and I can learn something. So let me tap in.
right, right, man. That's key, man. Especially with the kids these days. It seemed like they're a little bit more hard headed than when we was
Facts.
growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like you, as adult can come and tell us to do anything, we're gonna do it. Cause that's an adult. We was taught to respect our elders. Not saying they don't respect their elders, but it takes a little bit more. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? A little bit more
yeah,
demonstration, a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, that's definitely key.
yeah.
I can definitely relate. I think, well, just growing up, bro, I don't like authority figures. Like I'll jump anyway, but I was more receptive to authority figures that looked like me and spoke the same language in which I did. You feel me? So even just going back to roots, like it's easy for an individual to be a statistic if they already have an attitude problem and they don't like authority, right? And 9 out of 10 times that represents a lot of youth in today's society. So even though you're an authority figure, you can walk the walk, you can talk the talk, and you look the part as well. And I think that's one of the main components that is almost like unteachable, right? It's uh, one of those elements that is a must in order to be successful in this realm. So I love to hear that. Now you're also a teacher assistant, man. So how did you get in the teaching realm? How did that come about, especially with the passion in which you had? How did that come into play?
To be honest with you, so I was working at Fit for Life at first, and then I left Fit for Life, and then I was just wondering like what could I do to like keep me around kids, and I never thought I'd be a teacher, man. I promise you I didn't, cause I was like, man, I
Mm.
can't. I don't got the
Yeah,
patience for it. So I just went out, I just took a risk, man. Applied for it, sent in my resume, got a phone call, interview went well, and she said the same thing like you said, like you'll be good for these kids because you look exactly how they look. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a role model to these young kids. So you know, the rappers that they see on TV, they got, you know, blonde locks, just like you. You know what I'm saying? You know, they walk like you, they talk like you. So these kids seeing you look like them, but in a positive influence, you know what I'm saying? It helps because I'm at an elementary school and that's the foundation. So
Yeah.
you got to go through elementary school to go to middle school and high school. So if I can like help change and impact the youth from kindergarten, then you know once they get to middle and high school, we won't have so many, you know what I'm saying, bad behaviors or you know insubordinate kids and this down the third. So I believe that was my calling, and you know all I did was really answer it. You know, like I said, I just took a risk. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. Honestly, I really have. For me to do what I do, my patience is real low, man. I promise you. I promise you it is. But honestly, it helped me grow as well. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we want them, you know, let me see, not five, yeah, about 5 to 6 year old kids, you know, 15 to 16 of them, you have to develop some type of patience. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going 7 to 8 hours a day repeating the same thing to the same
Yeah.
kids. You know what I'm saying? From August, you know, the first day of school to the last day of school, it's not going to change. So you have to develop some type of patience, and I developed the skill. So it helped. It worked out. It worked out for me for sure.
Bruh, I love it, bruh. Like I said, bruh, I've never had a black teacher in my life until I went to college. I had my first black professor. So to
Mm.
see somebody at that early stage, yeah, I know, right? But to see somebody at that
That's
stage
crazy.
early in life is so pivotal, bro. Because there's some conversations you can have that the next individual can't have and is not going to be able to get through to that kid. So I love to hear, again, in every portion of mentorship, there's some type of reciprocity, right? You're learning the patience while you're developing young buck as well simultaneously. And it's funny you
But
say that you didn't really see yourself in that realm because you always found yourself around kids, pouring into them, develop them. But mentally, us as traditionally, I would say, as young black men, we don't think about going the teacher route, even though we're in a parallel realm to that route in each and every one
right.
of us. So I just wonder why that is. Now knowing what you know, what was it that teacher was like? That's not really the move that now you find yourself kind of falling in love with.
Man, it's like sometimes I like controlling what I can control. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I can't control other people's kids. So what I agree with or what I disagree with, you know what I'm saying? Like what I
Yes.
agree with, what I disagree with, I don't know, man. I was old school, so my I grew up with my grandparents basically. You know what I'm saying? My grandma, grandfather, and my mom. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather retired military. I think he retired '89. So you know, I was up, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock every morning. You know that military things, that hard, that tough love. You know what I'm saying? Like I think me and him ain't tell each other we loved each other until probably I turned 25. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't really see myself being around kids, man. I didn't really enjoy it. And then like once I started working with them and I you know, you could feel it like, dang, okay, this really works. Like, okay, like they really take to me, they listen to me, like they come to me. It's like my energy draws them to me. Like I don't really have to go out my way to try to get a certain kid to act a certain way or anything like that. It's like it's embedded in me, you know what I'm saying? So I just walk with it, honestly. And I started off with the athletes, and then you know, athletes and normal kids are different because athletes
Yeah.
they have a certain type of, you know, what I'm saying, mental toughness, mental discipline, and you know, normal kids in a regular schoolhouse, all they do is come to school and go home. You know what I'm saying? Or they come to school, go to daycare. You know, they may not be with their parents all day. They might not be with a coach. You know what I'm saying? So they're not really coachable. So they're a little different. So I grew to love the process of seeing a kid come from here, you know, to here. You know what I'm saying? I grew to love the process, and I think that's what helped me out a lot. Like fall in love with the process. So
No, that's real, bro. And to be real, I share the same sentiment where I grew up not thinking that I would ever be in this educator role because I felt like one, I didn't think I had the patience. And even now I still like working with the youth that I work with now, I still struggle with like the younger kids just because of what
right,
you just said, because having to constantly repeat myself. Like I love I say this all the time, man. The middle school kids just need a little bit extra love, but we
for
also
sure.
have to realize that at that age, like their imaginations are running wild, where they're really like trying to find themselves, and they're doing all type of stuff that may not make sense to us, but to them they're just living in their zone. But for me, I think the thing that made me gravitate towards education, or at least being in some form of education, or educator role, was that I saw some of my peers as I grew up, and I couldn't understand like what it was like for them at home, but I saw how like I was going on this one path, and some of them were going on a different path, and some of them weren't going on the right path. And for me, I was like, what was it that enticed them to go that way, and what was it that made me go this way? And then I thought about the mentors that I had, or the people that came into my life that spoke life into me, that told me that I can be more, that I can do more. And I started looking at those people, not knowing them personally, but I didn't see those types of impacts around them. So I think for me, it was like, I know that I've gone through some stuff that can be beneficial to kids. So how can I help somebody make the right decisions? But at the beginning, bro, it was hard, because it's like you said, I want to control the stuff I can't control. Like, I want to give you the information and you get it the first time. Like, I don't want to
Right,
have to
right, right.
constantly repeat it. And I think one of the battles that we face in mentorship is understanding that we're not with the kids 360, 365 to every day of the week. They have to go home back into an environment that may not be speaking the same stuff we're speaking to them. And like you said, we can't control other people's kids, but it's like being okay with that, but just pouring into them and loving on them regardless.
Right, right, and that's key, man. That's key.
It's a cheat code right there, man. It's a process without a doubt. Now, I know again you're from Fayetteville, so I heard you mention you didn't really have a lot of the role models, a lot of mentors. You're raised by your grandfather, and people who are a little bit more tenured. So, what do you think it would have been like having mentors today? Like, what would have altered? What would have changed if you had a you in your life? Like, what would be different?
Man, if I had a me in my life, a lot of things would be different, honestly. Everything would be different. This whole conversation would be different. Not saying that I would be on a higher pedestal, but I would be in a different position in life. I would have took the grind more serious at a younger age. So I didn't understand the grind until college. And in high school, I had a couple of homeboys. Yeah, we worked out. I mean, it was cool. We didn't really know what we was doing. We was just out there doing a whole bunch of BS drills, thinking like, oh, this gonna translate or whatever. Or we talk trash to each other in practice. We compete or whatever, but we didn't know what we was doing, and we didn't really have somebody to sit there and tell us like, this is how you train on Monday, and this how you train on Tuesday, this how you train on Wednesday. We didn't really have somebody break down body movements, body parts, what would get you to perform at a high level, what would get you to be stronger, smarter, make better decisions, this and the third. So if I had somebody like me to sit me down at age 5 and tell me, hey, Semaj, this is what you need to do to be successful in life, I probably would have been in the NFL somewhere, maybe. I would probably been further ahead in my track career than where I am now. Um, I just would have been a whole different person. Like, circumstances would have been totally different. Like, I wouldn't have been hard headed. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I went to Westover High School. We all know what's up with Westover High School. Not saying it's a bad school or anything, but we a whole bunch of knuckleheads over there. You feel me?
Yeah,
So I just wouldn't have been that much of a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have just listened to my elders a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Instead of thinking like, oh, they trying to tell me certain things as a tech. Like, when we young, we think like, man, these old heads telling us this and the third, whatever. And we ain't trying to
yeah,
listen to them. But if I would have known now what if I would have known then what I know now, like, things would have been like a whole different ball game. And then, I was like I once called myself a natural leader, but like, I got that aura to where it's like, my homeboys is gonna work out with me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I'm gonna bring at least 5 to 6 people with me. You know what I'm saying? If you bring at least 5 to 6 people with you, then who else is looking at you? You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So that 5 to 6 might turn to 20, 25. You know what I'm saying? You never know. So just bring that aspect to my life at an early age, it just would have changed everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey, Marcus, like, it's so crazy how like we in two different states, man, on two different times and everything, but like we be in tune, cause I literally just came from a session, And one of the college students, he just transferred from another school because basically, long story short, he got recruited by the coach to play safety, and basically he was second on the depth chart, and the starting safety broke his hand, and he basically was doing everything right, doing all the first team reps, for like a week and a half or something, and not a week, but for like a week, and it was like game day, and he was like basically they made dude play with a club, so he ended up like getting upset, like, man, I'm not start, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm doing all this extra stuff, da da da. So he ends up transferring. So the question he had asked us, like, do y'all think I quit? And we was in a certain, bro, it's so crazy. We came into the circle with a whole game plan, like we trying to do all like a whole different energy. And he asked this question, and it was a lot of athletes in the room, and for me, like, I had to tell my story because I resonate so much with Semaj, where he said, like, man, if I had mentors when I was younger, like, man, like, I ain't trying to be arrogant, but I would have been like in the NFL, like, all that, like, bro, I feel that. So, like, I would have been in the NFL probably. I would have probably 10x everything that I'm doing right now. And here's my story. Um, I was the best high school player in my neighborhood. Like, not high school player, excuse me, best football player in my neighborhood in elementary. I'm talking about, you go to the parks, I'm getting picked up first. Little Pee Wee leagues, I'm the guy. Like, I'm the guy. But it was just like natural talent. I wasn't training, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just naturally fast. And so running back, give me the ball, I can make it happen. You do a little slant, or you know what I'm saying, like anything, bro, I'm gone. So I remember the first time like we played against some high school competition. I was in 7th grade, and this was actually the high school that I ended up going to. They had one of the best teams in the city. Uh, we playing in this lot. It's no grass. It's just rocks and dirt. Bro, we about to get busy. They want to play tackle, and at the time I was scared to get tackled. Like, I did not want to get tackled, and yeah, you know what I mean. And so we playing against these high school kids. I'm cooking them, bro. Like, I'm talking about cooking them. Like, they can't touch me. So the guy like, man, what team you play for? What school you play for? I'm like, I play for this elementary school. He like, what? Like, you in elementary school? So now I'm really like, I'm like that, right? I'm like that. So I eventually 2 years later end up going to the same high school. Walk through the door. Football coach see me. He like, you play football, don't you? I'm, yeah, thirsty. So he, man, come to tryouts. Da da da. We go to tryouts, bro. Like, I'm talking about, I am better than a lot of these guys, and no formal training, bro. Just natural athlete. And I started seeing players that were just bigger than me get equipment, like not better than me, just bigger, like physically bigger. And I'm like, damn, like, why are they getting this equipment? You know what I'm saying? Then when it came to conditioning, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the most conditioned person. So when you got me doing the drills, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't performing well in the drills. But if you give me 7-on-7 action, I'm cooking niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so just to make a long story short, I kept seeing people getting like passing me up. So I was like, man, forget this. Like, it ain't worth it. And I feel like if I had a mentor, like, no, like, you got it. You got it. Keep going. Like, do this, do that, bro. I'm telling you, because like, you can ask any of my guys I grew up with. They was like, yeah, James was the one. But I didn't have the motivate. Like, football was just like fun. It wasn't like a passion of mine. But I was so good at it that I was like, I'm gonna see where it take me. But
So
like
you
I
stopped
said,
after that?
bro, I stopped. I'm talking about made a pivot, and then of course life happens. Started doing some dabbling in some other stuff that I wasn't supposed to. So football really wasn't important. But it was one of those things. Like, if I had mentors at that time, it was like, man, keep going, man, keep going. Cause like, bro, you could see the talent. Like, you could clearly see the talent. And I was playing multiple positions at that. I was wide out. I was playing running back, and then I did some special teams too. Like, yeah, but the crazy part is I, like, everywhere I went, I was always around athletes. So everybody always thought I was on the team, like, but I just was always with the athletes, like, always. You see that now? All the AGGF guys, athletes.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm tracking. Yeah, bro. That could have been a whole pivotal moment, right? If you would have had that mentor to really sit down with you and give you game. And again, I heard Semaj really talk about like the resiliency, the mental toughness, and that's one of the biggest things sports teach you. But it takes that coach kind of going that extra mile, getting to know you, knowing the nuances that come with you. Yeah, bro. That could have been a whole nother trajectory that you found yourself on. In my case, I would say I just wish coaches told me to stretch more. Like, and to be honest, they probably did. I just didn't listen, right? But if I would have had the right coach to sit me down and really get in my ear, because in hindsight, like, tearing an ACL, dislocating a knee, tearing a quad, like, breaking a lot of stuff that was unnecessary that I
Yeah.
really didn't have to do. And really, Brad, boy, down to stretching. I just hated stretching. I knew I was that guy. Let me go out there. Let me go play, right? And I suffer from it now. I was in the gym working out, feeling myself, and had to slow down. Like, nah, that ain't you no more, young buck. So I think to you all's point, man, having a coach, having somebody you can relate to is beyond, it's replaceable, to be honest. But I think now we're in a position where we are the coaches now, right? So now we have that wisdom, that insight to be able to pass on, but do it in a way where they're going to be receptive, right? Where they're going to hear you, where you're still highlighting them, but again, not James. You talked about it. That coach that was just rah rah rah. That extra aggressive excessiveness. Society gonna do that anyway, right? That's already pushed down their throat culturally, music, all that. But having somebody that can really pull you aside and really just give you game. Made me think about one of my young bucks, Trouble, gang banging, trill, just. And one thing he told me just in feedback recently in one of our conversations, he said, "Bro, when I first met you, bro, I thought you were so lame." I felt laughing. I said that. Well, I said, "Yo, I
Bro.
appreciate you telling me," but I said, "What? Why?" He said, "Cause you got to understand, bro. I never saw a young black man like you in a suit and tie who was speaking game, but then could pull me aside and talk my language as well, right?" And that's the biggest thing that we represent in today's society, right? Yeah, we could go professional development, throw on the suit and tie. We could also pull you aside and say, "Bro, what the fuck you doing?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? And that shit hit different.
Yo, Marcus, it's so
Very different.
real. It's so real because like y'all see me right. I will walk into a program just like this, like exactly like this, and one, it's two reasons for that. One, because you can't fire me from what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm my own business in this sense, but it's really because like I want to present my authentic self to the youth. Like I am a person that will prefer athleisure over a suit, but if it requires a suit, I would throw the suit on, right? But I feel like a lot of times, like when the kids see me, they like, oh damn, he look like me, like he relate to me, like, and then we be like, bro, like when I tell you, like we talk that talk, bro, because we are like for me, what I've learned is that like if you allow a person to speak, like truly speak, and you just listen, bro, they would tell you everything that you want to know, like
So
Every
everything
word.
that you want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really allow these young folks to tell you, I mean, like to talk, bro. Like they will tell you like what their pain points are. Like you just said, like they might even tell you, like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I thought you was lame as hell, bro. Like, and bro, you know, bro, no BS. I got a young middle school student we work with at one of the schools, bro. He said to Cody, like, man, bro, your line and messed up. He used some other words, you know what I'm saying? And Cody so love and light. He like, man, you know what I'm saying? I got dreads, it pulls my hair sometimes, da da da. And so I laugh, I chuckle a little bit. And he was like, man, your line ain't like that too. So I'm like, come on, bro. I'm like, and I'm knowing this, you know, I'm knowing my shit put together today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like,
man.
but it's just one of those things like the kid, like, bro, we joke with the kids and we allow them that space. Like, we not mad because we get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You just trying to be cool. But it's like when we start having conversations that are thought provoking and they really start talking about, like, man, you know, we asked them about the holidays and they start like, man, I ain't really getting nothing, man. I was just grateful to have food. You know what I'm saying? I was grateful that the school put on this event to come in. And we like, man, real quick, man, at the RJ conference, I had one of our students come up to me, and I know the person, but don't know him that well. They really expressed like they was going through a hard time, and I was like, I wouldn't have known it, so I was able to bless them. But for me, I was proud, and I was just like humbled that we got that type of relationship, and you never know. So that's why I would say, man, when the kids talk, man, listen. And don't be just like, don't go in like, man, I got the game. Let me just give it to them. But like, no, really listen, because they'll tell you what they really need instead of us just kind of, all right, you need to do this, you need to eat this, you need to go here, you need to talk to these people. No, like what do they really need?
Facts. Every time. I agree.
To Semaj's point, it's a new generation. It's a different approach. These Wi-Fi,
Woo.
these code is a little bit different, man.
Bro.
Now, Samaj,
Whoa, man, they way different, bro.
Samaj, what's one thing that you've really learned and really been receptive of? Right, I heard you kind of speak to the patients, but I'm curious to do a little bit of a deeper dive in regard to what's one of the biggest takeaways you see now being on this other side to like be a coach for the youth today, right? The impact in which you're making. What's one of the biggest takeaways that you really learned and just personally developed from as well outside of the patients component?
knowing your personnel, man. Everybody is different. Everybody's going to respond to you in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like I may be able to talk to, you know, Sam. I can talk to Sam tough. You know what I'm saying? I can throw them words at him. I can be real and blunt with him. You know what I'm saying? But Johnny over here, you know what I'm saying? He a little, you know what I'm saying? You gotta talk to him in a certain way. You gotta actually like break things down to him and be like, hey man, that was a bad decision. You shouldn't do that again. Here's the consequences of them actions. You know what I'm saying? And then, versus Sam, hey man, like, what the hell was that? Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to get your head out your ass, like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I had to learn like everybody is different and everybody receives things differently. You know what I'm saying? So what you say to one person is not going to be received the same way to another person. You know what I'm saying? So I just really had to learn that because I promise you, like I said, like I was raised with my grandfather. He retired military. You know what I'm saying? Hey, lights on at 6:30. He not telling you to wake up. It's like turn the lights on, walk down the hallway. So you already know, like I got about 10 minutes till this man come back. You know what I'm saying? He come back, there's gonna be some consequences. I ain't
Yeah,
trying to go
yeah,
through that. So me, growing up that way, I was coaching that way. Like, I'm being tough. I'm being a dickhead. I'm being this. I'm being, as these kids and women say nowadays, I'm being sassy to these kids. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like really dial back and like, how can I get 50 kids, not just 50 of the same kids, because nobody's the same, but 50 different individuals with 50 different personalities. How can I get all 50 of these kids to lock in? And back to what y'all was saying, like you just gotta know, like you gotta know your personnel, man. So and I feel like that's not just with sports, that's with life, period. As a
facts.
boss, as a manager, you know what I'm saying? Like you just can't go to every employee and be like, hey man, like you know what I'm saying? You just gotta know how to talk to people. And
Yeah,
one thing that also helped me with that too is coaching at my high school, which is more of a black demographic type school, and then coaching where I'm at now, which is Terry Sanford High School, which is more of a mixed type school. You know what I'm saying? So you have the hood kids, and you have the the school that has hood kids, suburb kids, and wealthy kids. You know what I'm saying? So me going to that diverse environment really taught me like I gotta be a diverse person. I gotta be a
yeah,
diverse coach. You know what I'm saying? Like my message has to be diverse, not only for these group of kids, but for 3 to 4 different types of what I'm saying, groups of kids. So it's just a lot of trial and error, honestly. And I feel like all coaches go through that. You have to go through that. You have to grow. You have to experience that in order to become, the coach that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So and I always like to learn. I love learning. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, just live and learn. Trial and error. So that took me far, honestly.
that's real. Man, I was just thinking like one of my philosophies is like support look different for everybody. So I always try to ask people like how do they need to be supported, like especially like friends, family, because I know some people like let's say you start a clothing line or a business, like some people want financial support, like all right, buy my clothes, buy my merch, right? But some people like man, you share they post on social media, they cool with that type of support. So like you said, man, I feel like just knowing your personnel and just knowing how they want to be treated and coached and just talked to. One of the principles of RJ is like, the more I know about you, the less likely I am to harm you. So I think like just being a mentor is just taking that approach where it's like, man, I got to get to know these kids, like, and I got to get to know you on an individual level because once I do, I know how you tick. I know your motivations. I know the things that you aspire to, to be and to do. So it's like you gotta get to know the kids. And I think we've all tried it before, man, where we just kind of had our own kind of blueprint. We like, all right, you follow the blueprint. It is what it is. Nah, man, you're gonna deviate off that blueprint a lot of times with working with these
Right.
kids because, like I said, their pain points are different. And if we just try to go in with information that we think helps versus what they actually need, like we not helping anybody.
Yep.
Hmm. Without a doubt. So, Samaj, what are some of the big things that you're working towards going forward? Right. As we get ready to kind of close on out, I know that the facility is something kind of top of mind for you. Can you speak to some of those things and some of the upcoming events coming in 2024 and years to come?
Yes, sir. So one of my main goals is to open up a sports performance facility here in Fayetteville. That would be the first Fayetteville ever seen, Fayetteville ever had. I want it to be directly for sports. Like I don't, there's no meatheads or gym junkies coming in. Hey man, can I pay $20 a month for a membership? Or I don't want none of that because athletes need to be around athletes. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I teach, like the 5 year olds, I always, the parents always want one-on-one sessions. So, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But how much am I going to be able to teach a 5 year old? You know what I'm saying? He only got 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And after 20 minutes, I done lost him. His attention span is so all over the place. So, so I only got 20 minutes, man. So my thing is I bring them into a group setting. So the 5 year olds, they train with 10 year olds, 11 year olds, high schoolers, college athletes. And half of the time I really don't even have to teach because, when you're that age, you're a sponge. So what you see, you do. And I can tell, my 11 year olds or 12 year olds, hey, we're going to do this drill. The 5 year old watching. And he's going to do it in his head before he's trying to figure it out. Like I said, they're sponges at that age. So that's one thing. Like I just want all the athletes to be around athletes because if I was around, college or, future pros, seeing how they move, seeing how they walk, how they talk, you know what I'm saying? Their what they intake and what they don't intake, that would set us that would set everything I did and accomplished in high school like in a different path because I would know like, dang, this is what it takes to go where he's at. You know what I'm saying? Or this is what it takes for me to be that fast or that strong and stuff like that. So one of my main goals is to create that environment for Fayetteville because we have a crazy pool of talent here that's been untapped. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about all the way across the board, but that's in every city. You know what I'm saying? Like we all got, like you said, you was one of those athletes. If you would have had a mentor, you would have been, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Sky's the limit. You feel me? So I want to create that. I wanted to like have an environment to where pros come here and train. You know what I'm saying? So the young kids looking at these kids, these pros here, and like, oh man, I want to be like him when I grow up. Instead of going on YouTube and Googling these guys' workouts, you can see it in person. Yeah. That's what I want. And I want to I just want to be a community guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to be that guy in the community that everybody loves and everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, he's, I just want to be that guy. So the facility is one thing that I want. Another thing I want to do, like I want to host like, 7-on-7 tournaments, like, what they do. Like if you see on YouTube, like Cam Newton and I think his name is Destroying or something like that. They do one-on-one stuff like that to just showcase talent in the city. That's what I really want to do. Motivate the youth and showcase their talent. So I believe I can do that with a facility. I want to be able to bring something that Fayetteville have never seen. Another thing that I have coming up, I'm about to create a speed lab in Fayetteville. So it's gonna be called 910 Speed Lab. And what that is going to be directed towards speed and agility. And we're going to be able to not only like test your speed, but we're going to be able to monitor your speed. And we're going to use equipment that's going to tell us like, hey, in your first 3 or 4 steps, you're losing power. So in order for me to adjust that, I need to know what you're doing to make you cause your body to lose power. That's if you're out of your shin angles or if, you know what I'm saying, you're not in the weight room, which you need to be, or, you know what I'm saying, like you got a weak core or your technique is off. So what I'm trying to bring to Fayetteville, I'm trying to bring something that's going to enhance everybody's athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? So we can have more people going to the pros or, you know what I'm saying, more people that know what they're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? So I want to, not only just create an athletic environment, I want to create an educational environment to where everybody is learning from each other as well. So another thing I got coming, I got 40-yard dash testing. That's coming up this Sunday, actually, to where I'm going to have every athlete that I can in Fayetteville or surrounding areas come test at 40. But before we test at 40, I'm going to teach you the proper mechanics of the 40-yard dash. And that's a lot of things that a lot of kids are missing. We got so many, colleges around here that's, to have athletes that's going to the combine soon, and they don't know how to run a 40.
All right.
So we're going to send these athletes to the combine, and they're going to jack the 40 up, not knowing, hey, if you go out there and run 4.6, that's good, that's cool. But if you knew how to run a 40 and you could run 4.3, that's a money time right there. Them scouts is coming for you. Like, oh man, he just ran 4.3, or he know how to run. He was prepared. He was well prepared. And I noticed one thing that college coaches like is a well prepared athlete. You know what I'm saying? They want you to come into college already knowing certain things.
Yep.
And you got to look at college how they look at you. Like, you're a business investment. You know what I'm saying? What can you do for my team? Why should I come recruit you? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to help me win the conference championship? Or are we going to win regionals? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to win NCAAs? Like, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
And, also, like, I feel like with that facility and bringing those older athletes in, them vets in, they can help me translate that to the youth. You know what I'm saying? So, got a lot of goals coming for Fayetteville, and, it just got to take one step at a time.
I see the vision. And there's definitely some things we could rap more about in more depth because that aligns with some things we have planned coming soon as well. So would happily collaborate in more depth. But as we get ready to close out, man, Semaj, what advice do you have to our listeners? And I want to specifically tailor it to the young men and women who are looking to be athletes at the next level, want to take their skill set, develop, and have that overall vision of the long-term success and things of that nature. What advice would you give them today in preparation for that marathon mentality that comes with being in the sports realm?
First things first, listen. You have to listen. Like, you have to be coachable in every step, every process, and you have to be so coachable. Like, and another thing, be a student of your game. You know what I'm saying? Master your craft. Understand that it won't happen overnight. There is, like you said, it's a marathon. A lot of kids get into this, if I start working out now, I'll be great tomorrow. Nobody wakes up great. Everybody has put in some hidden work in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they said Kobe used to, play a game, go work out after the game. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts, when he was at Alabama, he playing the game, and 30 minutes later, he's still working out in the weight room. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? It's everybody got to appreciate the grind, and everybody got to learn, like, your path is your path. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate your path, learn from your path. The next man's path is his path. Look at yourself, evaluate yourself, practice your craft, and study the game. Be a student. Like I said, you got to be coachable in all aspects of life. I believe in that wholeheartedly. Like, because if you're not, then, life's going to throw a lot of curveballs. And if you didn't listen to what you was told, that curveball might hit you in the face. Or you might turn your back, that curveball might, smack you in the back. Now you got a messed up shoulder blade, or your face is messed up because you didn't listen. Life done smacked you in the face. So everybody just listen, man. Listen. Like, listen, know who's there for you, know who's not there for you. The guys that's there for you, you're gonna know that genuine love. You gotta buy into every process. You gotta buy into every program. You have to buy into your coach. You know what I'm saying? They're not there to hurt you. They're there to help you. So in this generation, even in ours, we don't listen. And that's not even in sports, but like in life period, we just don't listen. We hear you to react, and we don't hear you to understand. You know what I'm saying? So listen, be comfortable, be coachable, not comfortable, be coachable, and just enjoy the process. The grind is a marathon, not a dash. So yeah.
That's real, man. That's real. Man, I got a question. What's your 40 time?
Man, honestly, I think I can probably go out there right now, at least run a 4, probably 4.2 high, 4.3 low right now.
Man, that's nice, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I seen Cat Williams, man. I think he said he could run like a 4.5 at 50. He over 50 though. So
Yeah, he actually recorded it. I think it was like, what was it, like a 4.4 or something like that?
I think it was like 4.45 or something like that. But they,
Yeah.
people was hating saying it was a basketball court though. It's a basketball court, not actual, 40. So, but nevertheless, at 50, that's impressive. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's over
Yeah.
50, so to do that, man, that's dope. But where can the folks find you, man? If they want to tap in with you, if we got anybody that's in Fayetteville that want to, connect with you, maybe got a niece nephew that they want you to train, like how can they connect with
Okay, so I'm on Instagram. My business page is 26.athletics. So that's TWOSIX.athletics. And my personal page is street speed _7. So street is my last name. And then, I'm a speed guy, so I put it together. On my personal page, I do have a lot of my workouts to where what got me to who I am, as well as what I learned to teach the kids. So I use the Vertimax a lot, and that's on my page, my personal page, and my business page. So follow either or. There's content on both, honestly, and reach out to me. Let's lock in, man. I'm all about making the city great. I want everybody to reach the next level of greatness. You know what I'm saying, or the next level of athleticism. So
Appreciate it. Man,
sure, for
let's
sure.
let's grow together, family. Man, it's been one. As always, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Tap in with myself, J Turner 0121. Y'all see the foundation now. We doing great work. A great, a good foundation. And man, we got some dope merch, man. Hit the link in our bio, man. Tap in with the merch too. We got some new releases coming out soon too. So tap in.
Oh yeah. Appreciate y'all, family, as always. Another great episode. Again, tap in on Roots Mentoring at Roots Mentoring on Facebook, Instagram, all the other good stuff, as well as myself, Mastermind _Marcus. But as always, it was a pleasure. And let's continue to grow and let's build, family. Until next time.
Peace.
Till next time. Appreciate y'all, man.